Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We're going to talk this morning about Social Security claiming and seminars and ideas around how to attract new relationships and such via seminars and just in general improving your Social Security claiming knowledge. Our guest speaker today is Dave Pimper. Dave is the president of Lazarus Coaching. Years and years of experience, been in the business since the early 80s. He's actively top producer with us. He's also securities licensed, so he does a good share of securities business as well. But he has been doing for the last, feels like 6 years or so now, Social Security claiming seminars with a lot of success. We've been coaching on that for about 5 of those years, with probably the most success we have had around a seminar program, and we've had some pretty successful. And so pretty happy with the results. We've recently made some changes in the way that we're attracting folks to those Social Security claiming workshops, and we were just really pleased with the success on that as well. So a lot of good stuff here this morning that we're going to talk about. If you have any questions, I hope that you will type them in. We'll get them asked and answered as quickly as we can. There'll be a couple of polls that will pop up. I'm going to zip through some what I call IAMS commercials this morning, but I'm going to start by introducing myself. My name is Steve Murray, president here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services. We are a 33-year-old company that has focused for those 33 years on working with agents that primarily work with folks in their clients primarily seem to be folks in the 50+ market. More recently, we've expanded the product offerings and the offerings we have in general. We've included managed assets, and we also do a lot more what I would call underage life stuff, flow target premium over the last 5 or 7 years. So a lot of great experience here at IAMS. We've got a great team spread across a few cities now, and all kind of devoted to making sure that the producer is the number one focus of our business, and that's been the case since the start of our business over 33 years ago. So let's go ahead and get started here real quickly this morning. Thank you all for joining us. We do have a few new people aboard with us, so I know a lot of you that have been with us in the past know very well how these programs work and have taken advantage of them. So the RPM, or Referred Producer Program, is pretty straightforward. If you refer somebody to us and they do business with us, you're going to receive a bonus. Even if they just get contracted, we're going to send you out a little check. So you can see the bonus numbers there in front of you. They can add up to be pretty good dollars over time. Some of the biggest checks we send out, frankly, from my standpoint, some of the best use of our capital here. Well, there's a lot of ways that we can spend money to meet producers. The way that I prefer to do it is to give it to our present producers and let them use it to help grow their business or get a little extra relaxation time, whatever you do with it. Now, marketing reimbursement's a little bit different. Again, it's based on the business that you do with us. We put money in your marketing reimbursement account. We'd like you to send us receipts there for what you're doing marketing-wise, and then we'll match your spend dollar for dollar on your marketing. So any business you do with IAMS, you're going to get some money into your marketing reimbursement account, and off you go. So take advantage of that. I wanted to show this specifically too and spend just a minute on this because this is our new producer builders program. We've got a number of new producers on with us. So there's various levels you can claim at. And I know that's a lot to look at. So I'm going to give you a second to kind of look through some of those opportunities to take advantage of a little extra bonus from IAMS based on the business you do in your first 180 days with us. The main thing that I want to communicate here is that what we've tried to do there is put some things out in front of you that are both, some incentive type stuff, a little cash incentive if that's why you want to take it in, but the values that you get really are much higher if you choose some type of marketing incentive, because we know that if you do that, then that's going to help you build business, do more business, and that's going to be good for both of us. So that's how we've kind of tilted those new producer builders, and that's been a great program that we've had for about the last 10 or 12 years, and hopefully you'll take advantage of that. As you can see, we've got some things that truly are just like we had a Ritz-Carlton vacation for you and your guests, so you can go to any one of 25 or 30 Ritz-Carltons across the country. We'll take care of your airfare, and that's just you and your guests, and go out and enjoy yourself on your own. Or you could get in the radio business, or you can get in the seminar business. There's a lot of different things you can do. Take advantage of that. Now, if you said to me, hey, I've already got something that I want to do or already doing that I'd like to apply, we'll just give you a cash equivalent that you can use and build toward that. You can see we kind of address that a little bit with adding money into your marketing reimbursement account. We will do that at just about any one of those levels. So if you've got something you're doing that you're happy with, our goal there is to help you build your business, as you can see. Great back office support here. No doubt that it's important to us. It always has been important to us. All our competitors would tell you that there's probably nobody better at it than IAMS. We're big believers in the import that from your standpoint. We want to free you up to do what you do best, and we'll take care of a lot of the details and help you along the way. So from the commission to or submission to commission, from case design all the way to case writing, from deciding what you want to do to get in front of folks and walking that through, you're going to find that service and support here at IAMS is second to none. Part of that is we spend a little money here and there on trying to make sure that we've got all the best things for our agents. One of those things is an EAP technology, all on our kind of what we call a single sign-on. So you can go into our website. All the companies that you do business with through IAMS, and some have it actually that you probably don't, are on Firelight. So you can go out and just do all of your EAPs through our website. EAPs, of course, 5 years from now, we'll all look back and we'll say, I can't believe, that there was ever a time when most of the business we did was not EAP, but it's going to be a little bit of a learning process. I would encourage folks to kind of get on board with that, because it won't be long, I think, before companies are going to require that, or at least incent it heavily with extra commissions. In fact, some companies are already doing that. If you know Bright House, for instance, how they do that. So a lot of good reasons to use EAPs. We've made it really easy with that Firelight technology, single sign-on on our website. If you have questions or need additional information on that, simply call your sales director. There's the carriers currently that are on that. You just ask your sales director if one is pending on it, or it's already on the system. And if need be, if we need to set one up, we can do that a lot of times as well. As I kind of alluded to, we've got a great creative department. You can, again, I'm just going to let you kind of read some of the things that we can do. What I will say is, in general, think of our creative department as like your personal advertising agency that is really focused on your business, on the business that you're in, the annuity business, the life business, the Medicare SEP business, the building of your image business, around financial services. That's all that they do. They do talk to folks just like you across the country all day long. We do that work for you as inexpensively as we can. A lot of times inexpensive means free. So take advantage of the kind of your own in-house advertising firm. Great website. You can look again and see some of the tools and things that we have out there for your benefit and your use. I would encourage you. There's a lot of stuff now on the website that can help you with your business and help you keep track of rates and help you keep track of a lot of things you can access really easily. One thing that I would point you to specifically is under the support tab. We've got some good stuff there, and one of them is the IAMS sales library. If you haven't taken a peek at that, you should. It's like a super website within a website. There's a whole bunch of materials and things you can use that you can kind of brand, or we can help you brand to your business. Some great thoughts, some great ways, some systematic approaches to gaining referrals, growing your business, checking your business. A lot of really great tools out there that if you haven't looked at, I hope you'll take a second to do so. I want to make sure that you're all aware of the Retirement Analyzer. This is a very much expanding part of interest that we have seen from our producers over the last couple of years. We've had the Retirement Analyzer now as a part of our offerings for about the last 12, 13 years, but really in the last couple of years, it's gained in popularity by leaps and bounds. There's a couple of reasons for that. They've improved the Retirement Analyzer. They've really made that a better program in general. Additionally, they have also kind of put together a short form question and answer thing that you can go through with your client. They can do a couple answers for you, and they've also set up a little way that you can kind of do that online. So you could send out via email a link to all your clients. They could answer 8 or 9 questions, and you could get back to them with a fairly comprehensive financial plan. So if you have some interest in something like that, again, you can kind of see on the screen what that program can do, what it looks like. Very graphic, very straightforward, very easy for a client to understand, and they've made it really very easy to get kind of an opening salvo of information out to your client without a lot of work and effort on your behalf, and without a lot of work and effort on your client's behalf. And you can get somebody started really thinking about, hey, where am I on my retirement journey, and how can this financial advisor help me through that process? So take advantage of that. If you have some interest in that, give Marcus a call in our office. He's one of our sales directors, and he specializes on that Retirement Analyzer. IAMS Wealth is, as I mentioned at the outset, it's a part of a company relatively new, 3 years old now, growing part of the company. It is our registered investment advisory. So if you've ever considered getting a Series 65 and offering those types of services among those that you're currently offering to your clientele, we can help you with that. If you're already an RIA and interested in learning more about IAMS Wealth Management, how they can help your business, we can help you with that as well. So I've just put up a quick poll, and a couple things that I'll mention is to reasons you might want to hit yes, and then a couple reasons why you might want to hit no. And I appreciate your quick voting on these polls when they come up. So if you're currently 65 and maybe the service that you're getting from your RIA is not what you would hope it would be, the IMS Wealth is kind of, because it's kind of grew out of IMS, really does kind of mirror our service processes. And so they're very service oriented over there. They're going to give you pretty close to, the one-on-one service for about everything that you need. So if you haven't been happy with your service, don't think that that's going the way that you hoped it would, hit yes on that. Maybe you're unhappy with the payouts that you're getting. So one thing that I run into a lot with folks is that, let's say the RA says, hey, we got a 1% payout, but then that 1% payout runs through a grid, and that grid might be, 90, 80, 70, 60% of that 1%. Our IMS Wealth Management does not have that. So there's no grid. The payout's actually just a skosh above 1%, and they do a great job with that. If maybe your fees in your current RIA maybe seem a little high, what I've heard anecdotally from our folks that are there is our fees are very competitive, and they're very happy with their fees cover. So their fees cover their E&O, obviously, but they also get a website, you get a database, and of course you get that service. There's a lot of great things that fee covers. And so if you're unhappy with the fees, and I would say finally, if you're just thinking about it getting to 65 and concerned about the process and want a little help along the way, most of the folks that do business with IMS Wealth came from the insurance side of the business, and we've helped them through that process of getting licensed to sell or to manage assets. And so if that's something that is of interest to you and you want to talk to them about it, just hit yes on that poll and they'll give you a call. Some of you have chosen not to vote, which is fine. We'd appreciate it. Your feedback, obviously. Just a quick yes or no would be very helpful. Oh, look at that. Everybody is very attentive to that. So I'm going to go ahead and close that poll out, and we're going to get moving right along here. Okay, so we do some trainings, as most of you know. I'm looking on here. Most of you probably joined us on one of our academies. We've got 2 or 3 or maybe as many as 4 more coming up this year. And so if you have interest in joining us, it's really sales and marketing. It's not a 101 level class. It's really a 202 level class. Yeah, it's not a great place to learn how indexed annuities function, or how to, it's really a great place to learn more about how you can build your business and build your practice around meeting more clientele, great sales ideas when you're getting in front of those clientele, great practice management information. We have, as you can see before you, we're going to have 4 top producers there. They're going to tell us a little bit about how they've gotten to where they've gotten to. Maybe some of that might involve some seminar presentation. It might involve a product idea, all kinds of different ways that those 4 top producers can help you to help showcase your business. We'll talk about what's going on in the industry. Obviously, the coronavirus thing is affecting our business for sure. So we'll probably talk a little bit about that and how, by then, I'm sure a lot of that will be behind us, but it's certainly an effect. But this interest rate environment that we're in right now, we'll talk about that. There's regulatory rumbles for sure that you need to know about. So we'll go over that type of thing as well. We're going to take care of your expenses associated with that. So we'll have you come in on a Wednesday. We'll start that Wednesday evening with dinner and cocktails. We'll go all day Thursday. We'll go half a day Friday. And it's pretty much nonstop information. So we'll take care of your travel, take care of your hotel, take care of your meals, take care of entertainment while you're there. So what your expenses is at effectively 3 days out of your office, you're going to think that that's well worth it. That's one of the reasons I think when you look around the industry and people, that's the IAMS Life and Annuity Academy has become one of the most prized events to go to because of the value of it from a sales and marketing perspective for your agency, and just the amount of information you get in a very short period of time. If you have interest in coming to one of our academies yet this year, what I want you to do is hit yes on that poll, and what that will happen then is you'll get the agenda, and then you'll also get a registration form. So if you look at the agenda and say, hey, that's good stuff, and then we'll send it, and you'll have a registration form, you complete that and send it in. What'll happen is then the next 3 or 4 of them that we have, we'll call you and say, hey, does this timing work for you? Is it a good fit? If it is, great. If it's not, then we'll call you on the next one. If that one's not a good fit, then we'll call you next. So really what you're doing is letting us know that you might have interest in attending. when you hit that poll, all you're doing is saying, tell me more about it. So if you hit yes on that, that'd be great. If you hit no, that's okay too. If you've been recently to one of our academies, I would appreciate you giving me a call, and you can do that pretty easily at 800-255-5055. I'm going to zip through the end of it here. I'm going to close this poll out. If you're unable to vote and you want to vote, just give me a call. That'd be great. Again, I will chat you my number here shortly. Okay, in the interest of moving along here, a couple things. I want to tell you about a couple of upcoming trips that we have available to you. One is in August of 2020, August 26th through the 29th. The only way you can qualify for that is to do your Athene business with IAM. So that's a co-sponsored event between us and Athene. Any business that you write between now and the end of June is going to count towards your qualification for you and your guests. That's a beautiful location. You can see on the picture there, if you've ever been to Cabo, you know the seas can be rough. The seas are not rough in that nice little bay that sits on. That's probably the premier location in Cabo, one of the premier resorts in that area as well. So we'd love to have you join us. You got plenty of time to qualify. The only way you can do that is to do your Athene business through IAMS. All the business that you do towards that, and all the business that you do with IAMS, no matter which company, also qualifies you and your guests to join us at the all-inclusive Secrets Resort in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That's going to be March 7th through the 11th. Qualification runs on that all the way through the end of this year. So what you've probably figured out is that the business you write with Athene counts double towards 2 trips. So we'd love to send you a couple places for about 3.5 million of total production on the annuity side. That being said, we'd love to have you join us. And if you need more information on that, give us a call. Bottom line is, do all your business with IAMS. We've also put a tag trip on that as well. And you can see before you the requirements on that. 8.5 will get you immediately qualified. 6.5 will get you under consideration. And that is tagged on to the back of that. That's a beautiful Four Seasons resort in Punta Mita, Puerto Vallarta as well. So we'd love to have you join us on that trip. So that finishes up for us. I'm going to get us all turned over now to Dave Pimper. Dave, of course, as I mentioned at the outset, he's the coach, been with us, 500 plus seminars in his background, a lot of radio background as well. He's a producer, keeps his home fires burning with his production, and he's done that since the early 80s. But he has been coaching with us for about the last 12 years with very, very good results. He's going to walk you through today everything that can help you grow your business around Social Security maximization. So should be a great webinar here this morning. Dave happens to be in-house, so I'm going to turn over the microphone to him right now. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Steve. Had a little switcheroo there on the headsets. It's kind of a conservative place. We actually could have 2 headsets, but we just have one. So thanks for that introduction. Yeah, this is going to take about, I would say that we're going to be done because we're going to go through pretty quickly today. It's Friday. I would say that we're going to probably have about 35 minutes here. So I would say that we're going to be done at about maybe 5 till the top of the hour. And there's a lot to go over when you start talking about Social Security. So if you have questions, I certainly want you to type them on in, and I'll be more than happy to answer for those when we were done. We will try to be done by the top of the hour. My name is Dave Pimper. I've been in the business since 1981. Started out with insurance, and I've been into with brokerage advisory, and then also I have an expertise around fixed index annuity and fixed. I'm really not a traditional from the insurance side, as I don't do much life insurance or med sups or disability or long-term care. Mine's really around the accumulation, preservation, and or income of the monies. I work with people that are in transition, which of course, like I had a Social Security workshop last night, which is working with people that are going from retirement, from working full-time to retirement, or phasing in the retirement, going from the accumulation stage to more of the preservation and income producing stage. I tell people that I have certainly an expertise of guarantees, which fixed index is my choice. I'm a pretty good salesperson. I teach sales coaching, but I'm a pretty darn good marketer. I've got a radio program called Retirement Boss Radio. Radio really is no more costly, usually monthly, than what a seminar system is monthly. But what happens is, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, because We're all tired of hearing about the coronavirus, COVID-19. But I will say this too shall pass. I've been through 4 bear markets in the last 39 years. I've been through just multiple corrections. I've seen H1N1 and MERS and SARS and swine flu and you name it. I mean, I've been through it. But the amazing thing is when I started on July 9th of 1981, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which has now dropped amazing 27%. Market's up a little bit today, 700 points, but it's dropped 26% in the last 2 weeks. And it's at about, say, give or take, but it's at around 22,000. The Dow Jones Industrial Average on July 9th of 1981, when I started, was 879. So there's blips that go up, there's blips that go back. We were due 11 years without a 20% decline. But when you have markets like this, in the beginning, it shocks people. So even business can be tougher because people they freeze, they don't do anything. When the market's this bad, but the economy is not bad, is it? No, no. Unemployment's good. Inflation's within check. Interest rates are stupidly low. I wish they weren't that low, but stupidly low. It hurts the caps and stuff on fixed index and fixed. But you know what? GDP's around 2%. Will it get affected some? Sure. I mean, when you're shutting down every sports venue and your people aren't traveling. I heard Edward Jones today's not going to do business travel through May. I mean, there's lots of things happening. But you know what? We just booked. I have 2 children, 30 and 28. Neither one of them married, and for Christmas, one of the presents was we're all going to Boston on a 4-day Boston trip, and we just booked our tickets yesterday or day before maybe. 2 weeks ago they were $350, and we got them for $188. I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, it's serious, but it's certainly blown out of proportion. But once it gets off the front, second, and third pages, things will get back to normal. And you don't think that people will really, really then say, "Hey, I need to look at something more conservative with at least a portion of my portfolio." All of that knowledge doesn't make you money, but getting in front of people do. My numbers are certainly down. We're actually kind of putting a moratorium on physical workshops for a month until the middle of. We're looking at till the middle of April of going back in and doing workshops. I'm actually having mine, but like I got 4 appointments on Tuesday night, and I got 6 appointments last night. 10 appointments. I got 10 appointments. I was happy with that. I didn't have very many people. My numbers were down about 60, 70%. But once it isn't in the news of such a threat, yeah, no doubt. And so what we're looking here as end of April or May workshops, which by the time you train and get coached up on Social Security, that's about where you are. If you have any questions, certainly type them in and we'll answer. Those are actual slides. This is slide 17. So there's one through, excuse me, the slide says 17. It really isn't, though. This must be from an old one. It's actually the second slide. The next best thing to being wise oneself is to live in a circle of those who are. I tell people like C.S. Lewis, the Christian scholar, I am that circle tonight. I am the one who's going to be teaching you Social Security. I read a disclosure, let them know that the specifics on that. We talk about the Secure Act. The Secure Act, okay? So that's brand new as of 1/1 of 2020, 29 new provisions. We talk about, and I'm going to go through those pretty quickly, but traditional IRAs, the RMD start now at 72.70. That's a plus for people. Also, you can contribute after the age of your RMD start, which is a plus also. Beneficiary inherited IRAs, they can't, not such a thing as inherited out. It goes over a 10-year rule. I'm not going to go through if I'm coaching you, of course, I go through much slower. There's annuities now that are going to be allowed in 401ks to counter effect the pension problems that are coming up right now. So no doubt that there's changes happening in the marketplace, in the retirement marketplace. Concerns, yeah, this is a slide. It talks about, you're here because you want to know, is Social Security going broke? How do I get my best benefit? What legislation is like Bipartisan Budget Act of 15 That's changed Social Security. Social Security, it's very much of it's a historical, fairly unbelievable, uh, 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 from a trustee standpoint of what it has done for Americans. Started in 1935 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. First check in 1940. Age was the only age you could get Social Security at the beginning was 65. And the amazing thing is, in 1935, the average person lived at the age of 62. Well, those are great odds, aren't they? In 61, with um, um, Jack Kennedy, President Kennedy, they lowered that you could take it out early at a discount as early as 62, and then a little bit later than that, they said you could wait to age 70 and it could increase. COLAs, or cost of living allowances, were automatically started in 75. There was no taxation up until 83. They wanted to firm up Social Security that ran a deficit actually in 82. But Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill got together, and up to 50% at certain income brackets. Social Security was 50% of it was taxed, and then in 93 up to 85% of it was taxed. The Bipartisan Budget Act did away with file and suspend in 6 months. But if you're born January 2nd, before January 2nd, 1954, you can still do restricted application, which we'll talk about. And now those are some of the slides. I don't think they're all the slides. They might be most of the slides, though, so we'll go through them pretty quickly to get done in time. Over 68 million people, 1 out of 5, are taking a Social Security benefit. Last year, about 5.5 million took brand new benefits. The average Social Security benefits in 2020 is about 1,500, about 18,000 a year. Almost 60% of people say Social Security is a major source of income. I'm going to read this slide because I think it's pretty incredible. Doing this one thing with your Social Security could mean losing 100,000 in retirement, by Jana Heron. Yeah. How much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Second bullet point: retirees will lose an average of 111,000. 111,000 income per household over their lifetime. Why? Because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. Third bullet point: overall, only 4% of retirees took Social Security at the financially optimal age. That's why you're here tonight. That's why I tell people. That's why you're here tonight. That's why a lot of people sign up for the appointment, because they want to find out when's the best time. Wasn't articles like this 10, 15 years ago? There certainly is a lot more articles like this how to maximize. 3 ages to Social Security. Everything starts at full retirement age. If you're born from 1943 to 1954, excuse me, your full retirement age is 66. If you're born 1960 or later, it's 67. Anywhere in between there, it increments up by 2 months a year. If you take earlier, it's reduced, but you get the benefit now. You can start as early as 62. If you take later, you have to take by 70, you lose your benefit, but your benefit increases 8% a year, called a delayed retirement credit. That's Social Security 101 in a nutshell. I say Social Security can have a huge value, but claiming at your right time, not the right time, but your right time, is so important. So the cost of living, COLAs. So if your COLAs average 2.8% and you start out with $2,000, here's what happens is that your $2,000 grows to $2,600 in 10 years, grows to $3,500 in 20 years, grows to $4,600 in 30 years. That's amazing what 2.8% COLA can do. How about the total cumulative value under the same scenario, 2.8% cost of living, starting with 2,000. In 10 years, it's 300,000, 20 years, 2/3 of a million. In 30 years, almost $1.2 million you would have accumulated. My mom, 96 years old, we're seeing her tonight. She lives about 150 miles away. She's 96 and her boyfriend's 96. They've been dating for 9 years. My dad died 14 years ago. Her boyfriend, Dean Pearson, he's been in retirement. He worked till he was 61. He's been in retirement longer than he worked. Yeah, people are just living longer. How long does Social Security pay you? Forever. Forever. If you haven't gone online to get your Social Security benefit statement, you should. It's easy. It's all firewalled. A little tricky. You got to put in some security questions, find out who you are, and make sure that they're giving the right information to who. But if you do that, then you don't get a physical statement. If you're 60 and over, you're supposed to get a physical statement once a year. I'm not sure if they do, but you're supposed to. And if you're under 60, then the only way to get it's online. Government's trying to save money. I have 5 Social Security myths. Social Security 1, Social Security's going broke. My dad told me, hey, you better save. Social Security's never going to be there. Well, 85 years later, it's still there from 35. Or 40 years later for me, it's still there. 2.9 trillion in the Social Security Trust Fund as of the end of 2018. Still ran a surplus. Did not run a deficit. $3 billion. Sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot compared to 1 trillion. Might have ran a deficit last year, probably will this year. Government thinks that the trust fund will run out of money in 2033, 34, or 2035. Just depends on what the trustees come out each year. So there's going to be some changes because we don't want the trust fund to go bankrupt. You know, that's what you always hear. Legislatures, politicians, news media, they talk about Social Security going bankrupt. They're talking about the Social Security Trust Fund going bankrupt. So if you're getting a $2,000 a month benefit and that 2.9 trillion, goes away, it gets used up. So it basically goes bankrupt. A lot of people think you wouldn't get a penny after that, but they're wrong because this is the pay-as-you-go system. The payroll taxes 6.2% and 6.2% by the employer, not counting Medicaid and Medicare. But your money coming in for Social Security, absolutely, that pays for about 75 to 80% of the benefit, even if there was no money in the trust fund. So can Social Security go bankrupt? No. Can Social Security lower your amount that you get because there's no money in the trust fund? Yes. Normally 20 to 25% deduction. A lot of people don't know that. Different ways to go in with solvency with Social Security. I'll tell you right now, Social Security, first of all, it's a heck of a system. The means testing, the very bottom one talking there, that just means taking from people that have done quite well and giving it to people, part of your Social Security, that haven't done as well. It's a redistribution of wealth. I'm personally not in favor of that, but it's some legislation that is gaining steam within the actual within the actual let me go back on that. It's gaining steam, with legislative steam going into the House of Representatives, but they're doing it at $50,000. $50,000. If you make more than $50,000 in retirement, what happens is that they're going to take part of your Social Security and give it to someone who doesn't make as much or doesn't have as high a benefit. Amazing. Easiest thing to do is just increase full retirement age. It used to be 65 in 1935. Now it's 67. It's only gone up 2 years, where actual life expectancy has gone up probably 20 years. Yeah. Easiest thing is just take your full retirement from 67 and take it to 70. I mean, if I ask my son right now, he's 28 years old, hey Sam, this weekend, hey Sam, they're going to raise your full retirement age Social Security from 67 to 70. He would say, who cares, Dad? Get me another beer. Now we would care. I mean, I'm going to be 65 next month. I don't want them messing with mine. So I'd like them to, maybe if you're 50 and over, they don't mess with you. You're 55 and over, they don't mess with you. If you're under, yeah, I think all bets are off. And those kids don't think that there's going to be any Social Security there anyway, just kind of like we thought when we were young. Gazillions amounts of acronyms. I mean, acronyms out the yin yang. Here's the fact about Social Security. It is a pay-as-you-go system. It is funded by payroll taxes. Payroll taxes is actually, payroll taxes at 6.2% is paid by you, the employee. 6.2%. It actually, President Trump has had some language because of the virus of helping Americans by reducing or eliminating that for the rest of the year. We'll see what happens. That would be helpful. USA does borrow against those. They buy government bonds, usually 10-year notes. And the government does borrow, so some people that means it's a Ponzi scheme. I don't. It hasn't been a missed payment in over 80 years with Social Security, and virtually all Ponzi schemes fall before it's all said and done in bad time periods. Any questions? Certainly bring them on in. So figuring out your working benefit, yeah, it's over your earnings, working over your earnings over your working career, what age you're going to start. Earlier start, you get lesser percentage. Everything's taken from full retirement age. So if you start at 62 and your full retirement age is 66, you're going to lose out on 4 years. That's 25% less. If your full retirement age is 67, you go down to 62, you're going to lose out 30%. So if you have $1,000 benefit and your full retirement age is 67, you're only going to get $300 less than 1,000. You're going to get 700. And they consider 35 of your best inflation adjusted years. They average those on out. If you don't have 35 years, you get zeros in the years you don't have. You need 40 quarterly credits. Each credit is worth $1,410 or $5,640 for 4 credits over a year. You cannot earn more than 4 credits, but the more you make, the bigger and more inflated those credits are for your benefit. So it makes a difference of how many years you work and how much you make. Those two things are all considered into a thing called AIME, AIME, and it's adjusted earnings. It's a calculation of what your actual benefit is. The greatest thing is that software does all of the figuring out for you now. Is Social Security complicated? Extremely. When's the last time you saw the Social Security Administration give a seminar on how to understand Social Security claiming? Can you say NEVER? Never, nada, none, won't happen, can't happen. Social Security Administration, when you go down to their office, they can't give you advice. Is that bizarre? When I got into Social Security learning it about 10, 11 years ago, I called my banker, my CPA, and my lawyer. My trust lawyer that I refer everything out to. All were at the age at that time were 55 or 57 or older. I asked them how much each one of those knew about Social Security, and they all said very little. And I said, who do you refer out to? Because I wouldn't refer out to me. Each one of them said the Social Security Administration. They can give you facts, but they can't give you advice. Who gives advice? I do. And by the way, don't you love this dog? Here's my joke too. See, he has a bone tie. Pretty funny, I think. Yeah, I have a little fun with my slides and stuff, but it just shows you 43 to 54, full retirement age 66 goes up to 67. Baby born day 67. Everything goes for full retirement age. At full retirement age, you get 100% of your benefit. If your FRA is 66, like I said, goes down, this down to 25%. If you wait 1 year after your full retirement age and don't take Social Security, your benefit is absolutely guaranteed by the government to grow 8%. If you go COLA, which is 1.6% this year, that's 9.6%. Now, even though the market was up 31% last year, it's down 27% this year. Markets don't have guarantees. Social Security does. It's a heck of a government program. I'm going to tell you that. So spousal benefits, I'm going to go through this quickly. But Dave's primary insurance amount, the amount at full retirement age is $2,400. Amy's primary insurance amount is $1,000. They both take. Primary just means the amount at full retirement age. So they're both 66. Those are the amounts that they're getting. Dave takes his $2,400. Amy takes her $1,000. Dave takes his $2,400. Amy has an option. She can take all of hers or half of his, whichever is more. Well, what's more? You're right. Half of his. Half of his is $1,200. That's $200 more. $2,400 more in a year's time by jumping up to Dave's benefit. This is done automatically by the Social Security Administration. You don't have to ask for it. Now, what happens if Amy wants to take hers, but Dave wants to delay hers to get that 8% delayed retirement credit? So Dave's not taking his. Amy doesn't have an option. The only time she can get a spousal benefit is if that spouse is taking their benefit. So Amy can only take 1,000. What happened when Dave starts taking his at 70? Now Amy gets a $200 top up. A lot of moving parts there. See how that works? Next slide. Divorce spouse benefits. Here's the triple play for divorce spouse. The beneficiary, the person taking the benefit, was married at least 10 years or more. They're currently unmarried. You could have been married before, after your divorce, or after your spouse dies, but you're currently unmarried, and your ex is at least 62. Married for 10 years, currently unmarried, spouse is 62 or older. You can treat your spouse just like you're still married to them. I have to smile. A couple of months ago, this gal said, "I hate my ex." I said, "It makes no difference. It can make you more money." Okay. Married couples have many more alternatives than a single person has. How about survivor benefits? That's one thing my wife says, is none of us get out alive. Physically, none of us get out alive. Let's just say that we're both full retirement age, so there's no discounting on benefits. Dave's benefits $2,000, Amy's benefits $1,200. And I say this like I did last night in the workshop, of a husband and wife, who normally dies first. Yeah, they always say the guy does. I said, you know why that is? Because he elects to. I like my own jokes. I'm like Red Skelton. He always laughed at his own jokes. Yeah. Yeah, so Dave dies. Amy's got the option. She can keep her 1,200, or she can drop hers and take Dave's. Why wouldn't she do that? Well, it happens. It happens because people just are uninformed. Yeah, she jumps up to his benefit. Here's the interesting thing is, you don't get it automatically like a spousal benefit. On divorced and survivor benefits, you have to request them. You have to ask for them. Okay? So I had a gal 10 years ago, one of my very first workshops. It was in Fremont, down about 20 miles from Omaha, IAM's home office, where I grew up, where I went to high school at. She came to the workshop. She comes on in. I was like 55 years old at that time. She was like 73, and I get a kick out of when old people call me Mr. She said, "Mr. Pipper," she said, "you said something in the seminar that really concerned me." I said, "Well, what is that?" She said, "You said that if you're married and your spouse dies, and that spouse has a higher benefit than you have, you can jump up to that higher benefit." I said, "That's exactly right. That's what I said." She said, "Well, it's just like this." She says, "I was told you couldn't do that." I said, "Well, who told you?" She said, "My brother." Oh gosh. And then I tell the people, in like last night in the seminar, don't listen to your brother for Social Security advice. Don't listen to your priest. Don't listen to your boss at work. I mean, only 2% of the American public really understands Social Security like I do. I know, I know the answers. Come and talk to me. I get lots of referrals from professionals in my hometown now, because they know I know Social Security and they don't. Think about how much that cost this gal. I'm rounding those off now. Her benefit was 1,300. Her husband's benefit was 1,800. That's $500 a month times 12 months, which is $6,000, times the 5 years ago that her husband died and she didn't jump up to his benefit. Well, $6,000 times 5 years, 30 grand. She lost out on $30,000 because she listened to her brother. And then I joke, I always say, "How do you like to go to that Thanksgiving dinner the next year?" Don't listen to your brother. Listen to someone who knows it. Dave Pimper, I know it. Now, I did get her a retro benefit of 6 months. So actually, she only really lost 27,000. Coordinating spousal benefits. Restricted application is still around if you're born January 2nd or before of 1954. This is really complicated, so I'm not, and I want to keep things on time today. But if Amy takes her $1,000 benefit and Dave delays, normally Amy, there's no spousal benefit. But with restricted application, Dave actually can start it and stop it and restrict it. His grows the 8%. Amy's taking hers. That's how you take a spousal benefit. Dave can reach out and take half of Amy's benefit, $500. Yeah, if you think it's complicated, it is. A lot of moving parts, but with restricted application, you're a taker of the spousal benefit. So you take $500 a month as yours is growing 8%. Amy's taking hers. $500 times 12 is 6,000 times 4 years. You could get up to, under this scenario, up to $24,000 in free money. You know what? Only 0.7% of all Americans that this would help take advantage of it. 0.7. Why? No one's ever told them about it. They don't even know it's available. They certainly won't hear about this from the Social Security Administration office. Myth number 2, if I claim Social Security benefits early and invest the income, I'll come out ahead rather than delaying the claim. I'm an investment guy, and this is just not true. Most people can't be that disciplined. The second thing is there's an absolute guarantee, whether you take it at 62 or 70, it's anywhere from 5% guaranteed to 8%. That's not counting cost of living. You throw a couple percentage point of cost of living on there, and all of a sudden you've gone from 6 to 9% or 6 to 10%. What a big deal. Big deal. Should you claim early? If you got bad health, you need the money. I joke about, hey, say your health's good, but your 3 brothers have all died from lung cancer and you're a smoker. But being uninformed, that's why you're here tonight. So that's why so many people always say sign up for the consultation. I said actually to my broker dealer being ignorant. I thought that was a little strong, so I backed it down to being uninformed. There's an annual earnings test. I'm going through those slides quite fast. When I'm coaching you, tell you what, if you don't know Social Security and you're working the pre-retired or just retired crowd, I mean, you get across a person like myself that knows Social Security, really, it's not going to be a very fair fight. I mean, Social Security, I can't tell you how much money Social Security's made me. I can't tell you how many times they were working with an advisor, but they didn't know Social Security. I teach you Social Security and coaching. When you do your seminar, which we're doing seminars now, end of April and also in May, going into the summer, I teach you Social Security claiming. You get with the $2,500, which is guaranteed 25 buying units, okay, with the Social Security seminar, you get Social Security claiming from me. But I'm going to go back to this earnings test. If you make above $18,240 in 2020, yeah, you get back $1 for every 2 if you're under full retirement age. Just don't normally want to do that. You actually get a stipend on that once you receive your full retirement age. They give it back to you, but over your life expectancy, it's normally not a good thing. You're going to get the biggest family benefit if you wait to 70. That's not true. I know a lot about Social Security, and my wife took hers at 62. I'm waiting on mine, but not my wife, to get the biggest benefit. You know what? I always say it's the worst water cooler talk there is. Hey, I took my benefit at 62, and you should too. Hey, I took my benefit at 70, and you should too. That's just like saying, hey, I love the color violet, and you should too. Does it make good sense to not take it early? Could. Basically, for a 2.8% cost of living from 62 to 70 in those 8 years, you're guaranteed to virtually double your money. Pretty amazing. Are there such things as do-overs? There are. If you pay all your money back, if you take the benefit, pay all the money back in the first year, yeah, you can start over like you never did it. One time you can do that. Remember that 6-month retroactive benefit? The lady that messed up on her survivor benefit, she went back 6 months and got the 3,000. Yeah, you can do that if you're over the age of full retirement. How about if you get laid off from your job, though you got enough money to retire at 62, find a great job at 64? Can you go in and say I don't need Social Security now and stop it? Nope, cannot do that. At full retirement age, you can, but not before. So there are certain do-overs. Some people think when you start, there's nothing you can do. Muni bond income is taxed with Social Security. That's true. It only makes sense that tax-free Roth IRA and income distributions will also be taxed. That is not true. Roth conversion, Roth IRA, Roth income and distribution under the Provisional Income Act of Social Security, how you consider taxation, it is not taxed. So is Social Security taxed? It depends. If you make a fair amount of money, it is. If you don't make much money, it's not. It's done off of provisional income. It's your adjusted gross income. It's modified adjusted gross income, meaning you have some deduction, like IRAs are deducted. You don't get the standard deduction in that, like the $12,200 a year. That doesn't count towards it. But what happens is that if you make under certain brackets, Social Security is not taxed. And we try to do that with folks. Here on the back, civic under 32,000 of provisional income, adjusted gross income, half of your Social Security benefit, all of your community bond tax-free interest. Yeah, then it is not taxed. There's a 50% tax rate up to 44, and then 85% of your Social Security is taxed married filing jointly over 44,000. I think something that's very interesting is that most people don't have any clue of how Social Security is taxed. I had a guy come in, he was $130 over the provisional income because he asked his CPA, and he came to me and I said, do you have any working income? He was retired. He said, no. He said, well, yeah, I do. I worked at the golf course I got paid like 700. We put in just a $200 IRA out of that money, brought his income like a 31,950 for his provisional income. Yeah. And all of a sudden he saved about $3,000 in taxes because none of his Social Security was taxed. Yeah. Reducing, sure, we try to reduce. If you don't take, you don't pay taxes. That's interesting. Roth conversions, you pay taxes now, but you don't pay later. If I ask somebody, do you think that tax rates will be higher or lower in 10 years? Almost everybody says higher, which means that tax-free income or distributions would be better. Yeah. I think conversions, I think we're in a pretty low, especially with the standard deduction being 12,200. If you got two people 65 and over, you got $27,000 worth of deductions. I don't think we're going to see that for a while again. Social Security myth number 5, I beat this around, but Social Security Administration will give you the best advice. They can't. They can't give you advice. They can give you your estimate your highest benefit now, but they cannot talk about restricted application or scenario planning. They cannot give advice. This comes right from their hand manual. Provide enough information so claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. That's wild. I consider all your income streams. And I go through each one of those bullet points. Social Security is not a standalone income stream. Social Security is the most flexible of all income streams. Claiming at your right time, not their right time, can be paramount. Don't forget about the survivor benefit. My mom right now, my dad's been dead for 14 years. My mom has been on his benefit for 14 years. His survivor, she jumped up to his survivor benefit. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Social Security is a fairly amazing government program. Here's the 5 pillars of income: wages, pensions, income producing assets, required minimum distributions, and Social Security. Social Security is by far the most flexible. Why is this important? Income producing assets. That's where we find out every single asset that they have. And we do that when we get together with them on the one-on-one appointment. You need to find some kind of asset that you can go forward with and transition to the sale. So you got a lot of questions? Yeah, a lot of questions. When to claim? When's the best time? Could a Roth help me? Where do I go from here? This is the exact workshop that I have. It isn't just your benefit, but could there be a spousal or coordinating spousal benefit? How about survivor benefit, divorce benefit? The Social Security Administration is not going to ask about your personal health history. They're not going to ask about other income sources. I am, because I'm going to give you the best time for you to take. There's a lot to consider for your best claiming decision. Remember, it's not it's for you, because it's like snowflakes. Every single Social Security Social Security report I do is different. So the last 3 slides, we really, I'll go through it quickly, but I talk about procrastination because I don't want them to procrastinate about the next slide of taking the appointment. Okay, so procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop tomorrow. But we're going to put a poll up. We do not want you to procrastinate. If you heard something today that you think could make a difference, I want you to put yes on this poll. Okay, now what we do is we bring up the evaluation form right at the workshop. They pick the date and the time. We call them back the next day. There's language I have for that really gets them to answer the call the next day. And then I do a George Foreman close. Everyone knows Big George. What they don't know is that he made the most of his money from the George Foreman grill. He made over $136 million in a check just by putting in his name. Yeah, amazing. So I always say, unless you got your name on a grill, you need to mark yes on the consultation sheet. And then we will talk to you. And then people laugh like they did last night. I had 70% of the people that were there last night buying you signed up for appointments. This is quite a program, but I teach you Social Security. I'll tell you right now, if you mark yes, Nicole and Lisa will give you a call. They'll line it up on my schedule. And you know, we're taking a little pause here. Just let the coronavirus just kind of go on in and slow down, which it'll get off the first 5 pages. Everything's the virus now. But there's no doubt that the media has completely overblown it. I know it's a serious matter, but you know, I think 40 people have died in the US out of 330 million. I'm not saying it's not serious, but the media has, in closing of all the events, yeah, that's been tough. But that'll pass. This too shall pass. And I'm not quitting Social Security workshops at all. It's been a big source of income for myself. So here's what happens is that you know, one of the people asked, can we receive a copy of the slides? You can actually get a podcast on the sides itself, and we can certainly mail to you. So if we're talking, you know, just let me know, and we will certainly get that out to you. I'm going to switch this over to Steve Murray, and Steve Murray will close out the day. And I appreciate everybody being with us. But if you mark yes, I'm going to tell you, we're going to talk about your marketing. If you mark yes, we're going to talk about what I can do and how much you'll learn about Social Security. Just it's like 2 for 1. Besides getting in front of a lot more people, and that's how you make money. But knowing and understanding Social Security, not many people in this business really go in and are teaching it. Well, I am teaching it, and I've done it for years and years, for over 10 years now. So here, I'm going to switch this on over to Steve Murray, co-owner of IAMS, and he will finish off the webinar.
Great job as always, Dave. Thank you Dave actually came into the office today. He felt so excited, I think, this morning that he wanted to do it in person, which is great. We'd love to have him in. As you can guess from the poll that we have up right now, we're interested in you hitting a yes or no on there. A couple things that I will say about that. If you've ever considered doing seminars, but maybe haven't because of reasons like maybe you're concerned about speaking in front of a group or the organization of it, or what would I say, or how do I convert to appointments, all that is done here. You're going to be very happy with the seminar itself. You'll go in, you'll let the clients know that, hey, I'm going to walk through some things here, tell them a little bit about yourself, tell them we really don't handle questions at the seminar because they're all personal and private. Set an appointment. You'll get appointments with about probably around a half of the buying units there, and you're going to have some opportunity to work with some of those funds, because Dave does a really great job on the transition language and helping you understand how to kind of move, talking about Social Security, talk about their total retirement income picture and how those things all have to work together. So that's a lot. The transition is a lot of the success of that, but a good part of it is just having the right tools in place and somebody to walk you through it. Having coaching is key. We don't do seminars anymore without coaching for that reason. It's just so important to make sure that there's not one little thing that gets missed that makes, you know, a 5% change that makes a 30% difference in your results, because that 30% difference can be the difference between making, you know, 10 or 12,000 on a seminar, maybe making more like 30 or 40,000 on a seminar. So great opportunities. I see that most of you are interested. I think that's wise. Dave will take a few minutes with you. I've had a lot of comments from folks that, hey, talk with Dave, decided not to do this or do that, but I sure got some great information from him. So Dave has got a lot. I mean, he's a producer's producer. He loves spending time on the phone with folks doing what we all do for a living, or what you all do for a living. And you're going to get some benefit from that phone call. So thank you for marking yes on that poll, or thank you for marking that poll in general. We do appreciate your feedback as well. I don't see that we have any more questions. Usually we get questions like, you know, how does the seminar marketing work in terms of the 2,500 for 25, and that's 25 buying units. Generally, until about the last week, we've been seeing more than 25 buying units. That guarantee is for a minimum of 25 buying units. So you're going to get in front of a good share of people on a very favorable basis, and have all the tools that you need to be successful. That's really what it's all about. Social Security claiming seminars, 401k seminars, Retirement Boss Radio, everything that Dave offers, that we offer coaching on through IAMS, is all built towards your success. We're not interested at all in offering programs that we have not seen a track record of success on, because that's the only way that it works for us and works for you. So like a lot of things that we do here at IAMS, very heavily geared and centered on the producers' success, and Social Security's claiming seminars, as I mentioned at the outset, has been one of the most successful programs that we've ever put in place. So glad that many of you decided to take advantage of it. I'm going to go ahead and close that poll out. Those of you that didn't vote, if there was a reason from a technical standpoint that you were not able to vote and you have some interest, simply give us a call at 800-255-5055. We'll get you in touch with Dave. If you have any other questions on the subject matter of today's webinar, we'll be glad to handle those as well when you give us a call here at the office at 800-255-5055. So have a great finish to your day. Have a great weekend. Wash your hands regularly, and we will talk to you next Tuesday. Have a great finish to your week, everybody. Thank you.